The college basketball experience, Iowa State Cyclones 2022-23 season preview episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Networks presented by WynnBET. Bet $100 at WynnBET and get $100 free bet. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBET. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET to claim your free bet today. We're also brought to you by SGPN TV. Yes, download the SGPN TV app today. Available on Roku, Amazon, and Apple TV. And when you do that, let it ride afterwards.
This is Brian Bosworth, aka The Boz, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, brother. Peace out. Boz out.
Yes. Woo! Welcome to the college basketball experience. Iowa State Cyclones 2022-23 season preview episode. My name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, aka Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
I smoke and I drink and I don't have stress and I'm healthy.
Yes. Love talking Cyclone hoops. I remember the days of Marcus Fizer. All right. I'd take you all the way back to Jeff Hornacek. He was a Cyclone back in the 80s. Love some Jamal Tinsley. I mean, unfortunately, the first thought that comes up is when the Hampton Pirates pulled the upset on Iowa State in the first round. I'm sorry, Cyclone fans. I love you. I love Ames. All right, and I love talking college hoops, and that's why I brought on this guy. Look, he's the host, one of the hosts of the NFL Gambling Podcast. Check that out as well. But he's a college basketball guy, and you're going to see him all over the footprint of the college basketball experience. Former video coordinator at West Virginia with Bob Huggins. All right, how great is that? Give it up for my guy Ryan McIntyre. How you doing, Ryan?
Colby, all good, man. How about talking a little bit of Hilton Magic here on a Monday evening?
Yeah, I mean, talking Iowa State hoops. I mean, what a first year! What a first year from TJ Otzelberger. He's hired away from UNLV, and I know he had ties. Back into Iowa State, but I mean, look, I thought the hire made sense. I really did, but I didn't expect this first year at Iowa State as TJ Otzelberger and the Cyclones go 22-13, and they make the Sweet 16. What do you make of that first year in Ames?
I thought he did as good a job as anybody in the country last year, totally revamping that roster via the transfer portal with 9 newcomers last year. And he grinded everything out of that team with Izaiah Brockington, who they're going to have to replace. But I mean, found a way and got a good draw in the NCAA tournament, beat LSU, and then beat Wisconsin and Milwaukee to get to the Sweet 16. So hell of a first year for Otzelberger and company.
Yeah, I mean, I could not believe, because I was previewing them last season, and I thought, you know what, I like the hire, give it some time, be patient. I thought they'd be better than the season before, but I mean, the season before they were terrible. They were 2-22. So even by default, I thought you would have been better than 2-22, but 22-13, Sweet 16. Wow, what a season we had from the Cyclones a year ago. And that's my thing. I was explaining this in the office today, and folks, subscribe to the college basketball experience. Remember, we're on YouTube. Subscribe over there, youtube.com/the college experience. And we're talking college football, and this day and age, we're talking Brent Pry, Virginia Tech. I know it's irrelevant to Iowa State hoops, but I was just saying, like, this day and age, you look at these coaches that have come in around college football and quickly been able to build a team with the transfer portal, and you're seeing their success right now in the top 25 for the season, but also last year, in the NCAA tournament, I feel like you saw some teams be able to do this. that really benefited from bring the portal. And I think that's what you should expect. I feel like there's coaches that are happening right now that are kind of dinosaurs in the sport. That this sport's been changing, college athletics in general, football, basketball, probably even baseball. Where the NIL, the transfer portal, whatever you want to say, the extra COVID year of eligibility, whatever it is. But nowadays, I feel like when you hire someone, before you used to give a coach 3-4 years before his system's implemented. I think nowadays you kind of got no excuse. Maybe year 2, but you should see some type of signs of life. And Otzelberger is a perfect example of way ahead of what I would have projected. But once again, I believe that that's what's great about this era. It's like, oh, you hired me. All right. Well, I'm going to go out and get this guy and this guy and this guy. And I got this recruit that was going to be over here with me. I'm going to bring him with me over here, and boom. Next thing you know, you got a winning formula, and you can have a great season much faster than the old days when you really had to build it. I don't know. I just think it was a great hire, but anyway, let's hop into it, because a season ago, Iowa State, like I said, 22-13, 7-11 in the Big 12. They were a fun team to bet on because you went 19-16 ATS if you were betting on them all year. So you won a little bit of cash if you're a Cyclone fan, just betting them every day. Looking at their offense this season ago, 171st. It's considering you made the Sweet 16 with 171st offense. That's like a mediocre offense, defensively. And this is where TJ Otzelberger to me really shined in year 1. The 5th ranked team in the nation in adjusted defense. That was pretty impressive right there. Yes, they struggled shooting the 3, 278th in the nation. Clearly there needs to be a bigger emphasis on offense and being able to shoot the ball. Offensive rebounding 163rd, defensive rebounding 186. So pretty decent there, like right along the middle of the pack, if not a little bit better. 291st in shooting free throws, and they play that Tony Bennett grinded out. 226 in pace. All right, little bit of shades of UVA there and on the pace front, but turnover rate, they were 304th at taking care of the basketball. That's not good. So really the offense just needed a tune up, and if you can keep playing defense the way you're playing defense, watch out. What do you make of all those numbers I just rattled off at you?
Yeah, they struggled in the middle of February to score. I mean, there was a couple games where, I remember the Oklahoma State game where they scored 36, or the Texas game where they scored 41, and then even 41 against Texas Tech in the Big 12 tournament. But I think like everybody else in the Big 12, it was a breath of fresh air once you got out of this league play gauntlet in the Big 12, and they ran the table in the non-con, and that's why they had a chance, even though they were only 7-11 in the Big 12. As soon as they got out of league play, it was like thank God we're not playing Texas or Texas Tech or Kansas or Baylor every night anymore. And they went on a little run there at the end.
Yeah, the Big 12 is such a gauntlet. We're going to talk more about what they lost on the team, what they are gaining on the team, and what year 2 should look like under TJ Otzelberger and the Iowa State Cyclones. But before I do that, I want to tell you that the college basketball experience, Iowa State Cyclones season preview episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is presented by WinBet. Bet $100 at WinBet and get $100 free bet. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WinBet. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WINNBET to claim your free bet today. We're also brought to you by Fubo TV. If you watch football, you need Fubo TV, or basketball, right? Fubo TV gives you complete coverage of college and pro football and basketball. They got NFL Red Zone. They got games in 4K at no extra charge. There's over 100 channels of live sports and entertainment for a fraction of the price of cable. You can watch it on all your devices. Never miss a game or an episode with your favorite shows because they give you included cloud-based DVR. There's no contract. There's no commitment. You can cancel at any time. Right now, you can try Fubo TV for free for 7 days and get 15% off your first month. Just go to FuboTV.com/SGB. SGP. That's once again, FUBOTV.com/SGP. We're also brought to you by the Elias Game Plan app. Did you ever wish that, you would want, because every Sunday morning, I'll put it like this. I'm scrambling. I'm listening to the NFL Gambling Podcast, which my guy, Ryan McIntyre, hosts. I'm scrambling to figure out information. I'm a college guy is where my heart's at. I mean, do I still watch the NFL? Of course, but I'm a college basketball, college football kind of guy. All right. So I'm heavy in those sports, but then I go to jump out and get some NFL, and I need some sources to help me out here with my fantasy football lineup. I've been playing in the same fantasy football league since 1991. So I'm just quickly, what can I do to see the most accurate information before, locking up my fantasy lineup or my bets? Well, NFL Gambling Podcast is one solution that I use. The other is the Elias Game Plan app. Yes, the Elias Game Plan app is the ultimate sports betting and fantasy companion for the NFL, NBA, and MLB. And whether you're a part of a fantasy tournament, maybe placing bets, or just a huge sports fan or sports nerd, well, the Elias Game Plan has everything you need. If you're probably wondering, what is this Elias Game Plan thing? Oh, it's the most trusted name in sports, people. The Elias Sports Bureau, official statisticians for U.S. Pro Sports League since 1913. That's a long time ago. All right. And with the app, you'll get all this great stuff, whether it's, key game insights. They'll help you build your fantasy roster, all this great stuff. So take this NFL season to the next level and download the Elias Game Plan app today. You can choose from 3 game plans when you subscribe: weekly, monthly, or annual. It's absolutely fantastic, but I can get you 25% off your first month when you choose the monthly subscription. Just use our promo code SGPN25. Yes, find the Elias Game Plan sports betting app in the App Store or Google Play Store and use that promo code SGPN25. All righty, we are back talking Cyclone hoops. Look, they're gonna need, to step it up because they lost a decent amount of players here. I know you mentioned Izaiah Brockington, the Penn State transfer who transferred in last year. 17.7 boards, shot 36% from 3. And trust me, this is a team that couldn't shoot well from 3 last year. So that's a big loss. And then, Tyrese Hunter transfers to Texas, in conference. Brutal. I can't wait to watch when he returns to Ames. These fans will have something to say about that. They also lost reserve forward George Conditt. Also forward Tristan Enaruna. I'm probably butchering that. He went to Cleveland State. 6'3" guard Tre Jackson went to Abilene Christian, and point guard, I can't forget Jaden Walker because he went to the East Carolina Pirates. Yes, my East Carolina Pirates. Watch out. But that's a lot to lose right there, especially Brockington and Hunter. I would say the rest can pretty much be replaced. I feel like maybe Tre Jackson, he shot decent from 3, but Hunter and Brockington, 2 huge pieces to lose. What are the odds that you can bring in? Cause he hit the lottery essentially on bringing in Brockington. You see this, whether it's Kenneth Walker, the 3rd at Michigan State in football. Brockington was a huge part of their success. I know they brought in some guys from the portal this year, which we're about to get to, but what that loss mixed with Hunter is gigantic, right?
The Tyrese Hunter one really, really hurts. I mean, he was coming on as a freshman. He had the big game against LSU in the NCAA tournament. To lose him to another Big 12 school, I mean, I'm with you. I hate when these guys transfer in the league, and it'll be fun when he goes back to Ames because Hilton Magic will have something to say about that. But I mean, they're gonna have to replace Brockington as well. But losing Hunter, I mean, like you said, ouch. So got to replace 30 points right there for a team that struggled to score altogether last year.
Yeah. And I see the chat lighting up, by the way. Oink Oink talking about the 2023-24 recruiting class, currently number 6, and Lane Elliott in there as well. Should be a fun year of Cyclone hoops, but yes, replacing those people, especially Brockington and Hunter, are going to be absolutely huge. They brought in some guys, and they brought in, to me, if you watch Atlantic 10 basketball, one of my favorite conferences to watch. I love the A10. So I watch a great deal of college basketball in general, but specifically the Atlantic 10. St. Bonaventure has been good the past couple of years. Yes, last year they didn't live up to the hype, but Mark Schmidt keeps a pretty good program there in Bonaventure, New York. And they brought in 2 guys that I think are really 2 huge gets in the transfer portal, and Jaren Holmes and Osunniyi, the big man, both from St. Bonaventure. Together with the Bonnies, they averaged 25 points, 12 boards. I mean, that's pretty big, those gets right there. What do you think of those 2 gets?
Huge. And they were with that Bonnies team, like you said, that underperformed, but won a lot of games in previous years leading up to that. Holmes will definitely be the go-to guy offensively for him. And then Osunniyi, I can't pronounce his name either. I
Yeah.
butcher that every time. He's gonna provide a good inside presence, protecting the rim. He averaged 3 blocks a game for the Bonnies last year.
I really love what they did in the transfer. If I was going to grade transfer portals, they would be an A+ because not only are bringing in those two, Tre King. Now, if anyone watched Eastern Kentucky basketball, not last year, 2 years ago, Tre King was a very good player on Eastern Kentucky. Now he went to transfer to Georgetown. I think he had some problem with academics, so he didn't play last year. Now he's coming in. He can play. I saw him. I mean, he was a sought after guy after playing at EKU 2 years ago. That's a great get. And then I love the Jeremiah Williams get from Temple, 10 points, 4 assists, 4 boards. And you mix those 4 with Hason Ward, the VCU transfer. I really think he did an outstanding job. Okay, he lost Hunter. I get it. That's a huge loss in the portal. But man, I like those guys they brought in. I really think Otzelberger did a great job. I mean, just judging, I know we haven't gone through all the teams yet, but I think this is one of the better incoming classes via the transfer portal going on there in Ames. What do you think?
100%. I mean, losing Hunter hurts and Brockington as well to graduation, but I thought they did as good a job reloading and revamping this roster as they could have, with the additions of Williams and Holmes in the backcourt to hopefully be better offensively this year, to go with a guy that's a veteran as well, Gabe Kalser. So, I mean, hopefully they can make some more shots this year and score the ball better. And then, like you said, in the front court with Osun and Tre King, and that will provide a good little depth for their front court. So I'm looking at this team to have another chance to get back to the dance, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're going to be pretty damn. I think they're going to be better than what people are projecting based off that. Now, I also want to key in. They did bring in 3 top 200 players. Forward Demarion Watson out of Maple Grove, Minnesota. Guard Eli King from Minnesota as well, number 147 recruit. They were both Watson and King, number 146 and 147 recruit. And then Ames local 6'2" guard Tamin Lipsy, number 189 recruit. So I don't know how much burn these guys will get in year 1, but still pretty decent class, quickly put together by Otzelberger in the midst of, hired, during obviously crazy COVID stuff and everything. So I think pretty good recruiting class there considering. And obviously I know the chat was already talking about the upcoming years. So I'm excited for basketball. We're going to talk what we project the starting 5 to be in Ames come November 7th when the season tips. And then we're going to go take a look at the schedule and talk about their outlook in 2022-23. But before I do that, I want to tell you folks out there that the college basketball experience is brought to you by promoguide.us. Promoguide.us is the best place to go if you're interested in plus EV betting strategies. And I got to say, we've been looking at their daily updates, and they are some of the most informative in the game. They don't simply tell you, what team is probable to win, but more like where to get the best odds, how to track down big and cash in big on those odds. And let me tell you, there's always constantly changing promotions, and they do a great job of keeping up to date for where you can catch the best promotions there. So go to promoguide.us and check out their 100% track, transparent, and proven method for betting smarter. Make sure you check out promoguide.us. We're also brought to you by No House Advantage. Yes, No House Advantage is changing the game by offering the most dynamic fantasy sports platform available today. You can play in pick'em contests versus other people for a shot at winning $250K in cash. Yes, download the app, choose a contest, select your player props, earn points for corrected picks, and climb up the leaderboard for your shot to win big money every day. You also can test your skills against the house and win 20 times the amount of money you enter if you hit all your picks. Bet up to 5 player prop over unders or individual player matchups across every major sports league. That includes the NFL, NBA, MLB, PGA, MMA, and NASCAR. So make sure you check out No House Advantage today and experience daily fantasy sports redefined. Sign up now with the promo code SGPN at nohouseadvantage.com or download the app to get a first deposit match up to $25. Alrighty, we are back talking Cyclone hoops. So looking at this projected starting 5 here, it's a slew of those transfers. Osunniyi, the big from St. Bonaventure. I'm seeing. I mean, he's got to be there. I think he's going to be one of the most important guys on this team. So he will be starting, I would imagine, at the 5. But going from 1 to 5, Jaren Holmes will definitely be a part of that starting lineup. And I even saw that he bulked up a little bit this offseason too. It's going to be really interesting to watch how he is this year. Also, Jeremiah Williams, the transfer from Temple. So the projected starting backcourt is Holmes and Williams, and then Counselor, you just talked about. This guy averaged 10 points, 3 boards a season ago. He's back for his senior season. And then, and this is always the fun one to pronounce here. Haj Kunk, is that Kunk? 6 points, 4 rebounds from a season ago. Shot 39% from 3. So get him the ball more. Maybe that will fix your offensive problems. And Osunniyi, the big man. I think that's the projected starting 5. What do you make of that starting 5 night in, night out in Big 12 play?
I like it because it's a good mix of some guys that have been in the program now with Kuntz and Kalser. So, and then you move in with these new guys with the St. Bonnie's transfers, and then Williams from Temple as well. So I like this. They got some size, and I think they're gonna be better offensively this year in Ames.
I think so too. And I think this team, when you consider all those transfer pieces, and having King in the mix too, I wonder where he fits, because he's kind of the wild card, I think. And I took a year off basketball, but I think he could really help things out, and I think they could really be a dangerous team if he emerges like I think he can. So let's hop into the schedule. We're gonna kind of forecast the 2022 side of the schedule. Obviously, college basketball season goes through the end of 2022 to the beginning of 2023. And then we'll just kind of pick, once conference play starts, what the hardest part of the schedule will be for the Cyclones. Obviously the Big 12 schedule. I mean, just say any game, any stretch, but November 7th, IUPUI, who weren't they the team that had open tryouts, I believe, in the middle of the season, I think last year.
Yes, that was them.
That was fantastic. That was a fantastic story. They were getting beat. So hopefully they found some guys. All right. I almost played for IUPUI. I tell my wife that every night. So you know what? I almost went over there and tried out. I still have some eligibility left. So that'll be a win in Ames on November 7th. They'll get a nice, easy win on November 7th. Then North Carolina A&T, my guy Terrell Furman Jr.'s squad comes to town. I think both those, and then you have the Milwaukee Panthers, who were projected to be pretty good a season ago, but this year seems like they're starting over as Patrick Baldwin Senior never worked out there, and they bring in a new coach. So 3-0. I think everyone will be on that. Them being 3-0. Then the Phil Knight Invitational in Portland, Oregon. They get Kyle Neptune and the Villanova Wildcats. This is their first season without Jay Wright. Does that mean this is a much more winnable game than traditionally?
I think so, but that's a tough draw to start a loaded PK field. I mean, the rest of the field has Alabama, Michigan State, North Carolina, Oregon. I guess Portland is a cupcake compared to these other ones, UConn, and then Villanova. So, I mean, that field is loaded.
Yeah, getting Villanova, and then they're going to get the winner of UNC and Portland. I'm just going to take a guess that it's the Tar Heels.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Portland Pilots, though. All right, shout out to the Portland Pilots. Yeah. So, I mean, to me, if they can just get one win there, you're happy, right?
Yeah, no, you don't. You just don't want to get swept. I mean, if you can find a way to get 2 out of 3, I mean, that gives you 2 quality wins for your resume come March. But I mean, definitely just don't get swept. It reminds me of that one year with Battle for Atlantis, where Purdue went to Atlantis and then they went 0-3 against, or no, it was Arizona. Purdue and Arizona, they both were in the top 10, and they were playing in the 7th place game to battle who was not going to go 0-3.
Brutal, absolutely brutal. So they come back home, and on November 30th, they get North Dakota, the Fighting Hawks. No, I don't think North Dakota is going to be much of a test for them. So that really puts a highlight for the month of November on that Phil Knight Invitational there in Portland, Oregon. fans, make sure you check out those games. Then you have the old Big 12 Big East Challenge December 4th against Mike Anderson and St. John's. And this game is awesome because Posh Alexander's back. They were active in the portal. They went and got oh man, what's my guy's name from Illinois? Andre Curbelo.
Yes.
I'm excited to watch this game here. Obviously, with being in Ames, I think I favor Iowa State. You?
Yeah, no, they need to win this game. This is that make or break game for their resume probably come March. They can't drop a home game to the Johnnies.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is one you circle for your season. You know, this and the next one, really, the Cyhawk series against the Iowa Hawkeyes. You know, Iowa whiffed on who were they trying to bring in? They were trying to bring in someone in the portal. Pete Nance, I believe. They whiffed on Pete Nance. Now Iowa,
Carolina.
you know, yeah, they have Keegan Murray's brother coming back, but they're it's not as talented as a roster as they thought they were. You know, I know that they almost got a couple guys in the portal that were some big gets, but they struck out there. This is in Iowa City, but I think Iowa State should win this game. Obviously, these games are crazy. It's a rivalry game. Anything can happen. What do you think?
I like the Cyclones to get it done again. They seem to have Iowa's number over the last couple of years in the Cyhawk battle. I mean, they won by 20 last year, so it will be a revenge game for Iowa. But I still lean the Cyclones in this one.
Yeah, I think they got to win those two games because those were I mean, Iowa probably not going to be a tournament team, but you never know. I feel like maybe they could be a bubble team. And then the St. John's game, obviously they live on, I feel like they've lived on the bubble for the past 20 years. So these are critical games.
Yeah.
If I was, you know, after that, December 11th, McNeese State, Joe Dumars' alma mater comes to town. That should be a win. Then you got the Western Michigan Broncos. I think we would both agree that will be a win. Then Omaha comes to town. That'll be a win. Then before, man, New Year's Eve is fantastic this year. Have you seen the slate of games on New Year's Eve? Like, this is tough, man. I'm supposed to be with my wife and stuff. We're supposed to go watch the ball drop. I'm going to be watching the basketball drop. I'm going to be like, honey, I got to do some work. But Baylor coming to Ames on December 31st. Awesome game. What are the probabilities of them pulling this off? This place is going to be bananas, I would imagine.
As you say, this one's going to be lit. Hilton Magic always gets up to play Baylor too. Anytime there's a top 10 team coming into Ames, it's always rocking there. So yeah, no, I think they definitely have a chance to pull this Big 12 opener upset off.
So let me ask you this: what would it, judging the 2022 part of the schedule here, what is like, what would fans be happy with? What should they expect? And then what would be a disappointment?
They got to get out of the non-conference with 2 or less losses. I think if you could get out of that with 2 or less losses, last year they ran the table, which is why they were able to get to the dance. But I think this year the schedule is definitely a lot heavier with the PK Invitational and that loaded field. So if they can just get out of there with 2 losses or less headed into Big 12 play, I think they have a shot and they should be happy with that.
Yeah. I mean, I just think that St. John's game looms is huge because let's say they go to Portland and they lose. You know, I mean, if they lose and maybe they get Portland the next game, okay, that can buy them a win up there. But if you somehow get upset, that would be terrible. Then it makes that St. John's and Iowa game even more huge. So I completely agree. I want to talk about once 2023 rolls around and this Big 12 play. And I think also we have they have also the SEC challenge as well. So there's still a non-con game, but before I get to that, I got to get us paid one more time. I want to tell you, we're brought to you by Trade Coffee. Yes. Look, let me tell you about Trade Coffee. It's a coffee subscription service unlike anything you've tried before because they partner with the top independent roasters to freshly roast and send the best coffees in the country directly to your home on your preferred schedule. They have a team of coffee experts that do all the work for you. They taste test hundreds of coffees from across the United States every month. They curate over 450 exceptional coffees that make the cut. and then they find one for you. So they have a human powered algorithm that does that for you. It is the easiest way to get your very best tasting coffee delivered fresh to you. I have this product. My brother has this product. It's absolutely fantastic. I cannot recommend that enough. So if you want to support small businesses and brew the best cup of coffee you've ever made at home, honestly, it is your time to try Trade Coffee. Right now, Trade is offering our listeners a one-time $30 off your first order plus free shipping at drinktrade.com/SGP. That's drinktrade.com/SGP for $30 off your subscription of one of the best coffees in the country. We're also brought to you by Odds Trader. Odds Trader is a place to compare odds from all the major sports books. You can also compare the different sign-up codes and promo codes from sportsbook to sportsbook to assure that you get the best deal possible. It also has a bet tracker, which it organizes all your bets. That might not be a problem for some, but for me, that is fantastic because you get me in December, January, November. I'm betting on like 30 different sports at once. This year's even worse. You got the World Cup in there. I might look like a guy that never bets on soccer, but when it comes to the World Cup, I bet it all the time. All right. Once every 4 years, I go heavy on the World Cup. All right. Never bet on the USA. All right. That's a tip. All right. Folks, but check out Odds Trader. Honestly, go to oddstrader.com/Blue Wire. It'll organize all that stuff for you. Odds Trader, the #1 site for all your game day bets. All right. We are back talking Cyclone hoops. And I just want to key in on this. So the Big 12 is so ridiculous. I know you were with, Huggy Bear, Coach Huggins, who just got in the Hall of Fame. Congrats to Bob Huggins. And, you lived that Big 12 life of these. I mean, this is like a playoff from the start. You know what I mean? Like this conference is unbelievable. I don't know what has happened. And like when I was growing up, it was the ACC that was like this. And I know a couple of years ago, people were saying the Big 10. I'm sorry. The Big 12 has like run away with it from top to bottom. The Big 12 is unbelievable. This is a gauntlet. I look at the schedule and I see to open up 2000. So you get the Baylor one into New Year's Eve. Then you hop into, going to Norman, Oklahoma, Porter Moser year 2 should be a lot better. Then we're going to TCU, Jamie Dixon. They might be one of the sleepers of the conference this year. They made the tournament a season ago. And I think they got a really good chance to be even better this year. Then we come home and we get, Mark Adams and Texas Tech, who made a deep run to the NCAA tournament a season ago. Where'd they go? Sweet 16, lost to Duke, I believe, or at least I think somewhere right around there. After that, we go to Lawrence, Kansas. Then we're home to Texas. This is insane. So I guess the question I'm going to ask you is, what is the stretch in the season where you go, oh man, if they can just survive, a 3-game stretch right here, where if they can just get a couple, what is that stretch where like every Iowa State fan needs to be? Obviously they're going to pay attention to probably the whole season, but I'm saying is that 3-game stretch of saying, oh man, I hope we can steal a couple. I mean, the first one that comes to mind to me when I look at this schedule, and by the way, they get Missouri in the SEC Big 12 challenge on January 28th. I think that's a good get. Dennis Gates year 1 should be able to win that one. Mm-hmm. But when I look at the schedule here, or when you look at the schedule here, I mean, I see one that jumps out to me, but I'm curious if it's the same to you. What's that 3-game stretch that you see where you just go, I hope we can get it. If you're a Cyclone fan, I hope we can get a couple wins there, but I don't know.
I'm going to go right after the SEC challenge. You could make it. We said this during the Baylor episode. You can make an argument that the whole stretch, the whole 18 gauntlet is a stretch where you're like, God damn. But I'll go right after the challenge where they got to go to Lubbock. Then they come home and they play the Jayhawks in Ames, which is a Saturday 11 a.m. game, which will be awesome if that's it should be an ESPN game. So right at a college game day in Ames. And then you got to go to the hardest trip in the Big 12 from a travel standpoint, Morgantown. So they got to come to me.
Yeah. See, this is how ridiculous this schedule is because you just made a great case right there. And I don't know that I'm right, but my first thought was, I was like, wow, I see they get at TCU, home to Texas Tech, at Kansas. Either way, I mean, this is hard. This is just absolute hard. And then they even have a Texas after that. So you can make the case that the Texas game, the Texas, Kansas, and Texas Tech stretch is harder than all the ones we mentioned. But either way, unbelievable. So I guess let's forecast. when the Big 12 tournament comes around, what seeding do you think Iowa State will have in the Big 12? What's a great year, and what's a realistic, like, the idea of what fans should expect from the Cyclones Big 12 seeding wise?
I'd say the ceiling is around that 5 seed, but most likely, I think it kind of like last year. I think they're going to hover around 7-8 Big 12 wins, which, with how good the league is, that can get you in the NCAA tournament if you take advantage of your non-conference and take care of business. So I think they're going to be the 7th seed again, just like last year.
Yeah. And to make the NCAA tournament, is this a team that you think will be a bubble team that's sitting there waiting to hear their name drawn, or you think this is an easy in?
I think this comes down to the wire. Just like last year they were solidly in, but they still had to sweat it a little bit after losing the way they did it to Texas Tech in the Big 12 tournament.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of think bubble team, and now, gun to your head, you say they're in the NCAA tournament, right?
Yeah, no, I think Otzelberger year 2. I think this team is better offensively, and they continue the magic there at home in Ames.
I think they get into. I fucking feel like we're agreeing too much, but I feel like I
grind it out. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like bubble team. Those St. John's games, the Iowa games, the Missouri games, they got to take care of business there, and then obviously they still have to play good ball in the Big 12. I think they get in. I don't know that there's a Sweet 16 coming again though. I think they get in, and ceiling Sweet 16, more likely first or second round exit. Yeah. Your thoughts? Yeah, you agree?
I like that. And you know what though? I mean, I don't think anybody else saw that Sweet 16 coming last year with their draw. So it's all about matchups in the tournament. Maybe they get another favorable draw and they make some magic in the dance again.
There we go. I can't wait. I honestly have a soft spot. Something about watching these games in Ames, football and basketball. I love watching Iowa State athletics. All right. Shout out to their fans. They show up. They're passionate. I dig them. Folks, subscribe to the College Basketball Experience. Remember, the season tips November 7th. And once that season tips, you're going to be hearing me every night. And you're going to hear Ryan. He's going to be on a lot of those shows too. We're going to be we handicap every single game. We've been doing this for years on the College Basketball Experience. Never been below 500, but also we just love college basketball. So besides us handicapping every game, we're talking about the matchups that we want to see, that we can't wait to watch. Every single night of the college basketball season, we're here on the College Basketball Experience. Remember, also subscribe to the College Football Experience, because we're talking Iowa State football there all the time. Love what Matt Campbell's done with that program. And we come together as one on YouTube, youtube.com/the College Experience. So go subscribe over there, tell a friend. And Ryan, I know you're going to be on the show a lot, but people, go check out the NFL Gambling Podcast. And remember, Ryan will be back here. This guy's got a ton of college basketball knowledge. So we're going to be picking his brain, talking college hoops for the days to come. I mean, I can't wait. So come back and hop on some more Big 12 previews, as this week we're going to try to conquer the Big 12 and the Big East this week. So appreciate you coming on, Ryan.
Can't wait, man. And the season, we are just over a month away. So I can't wait for college basketball. I'm looking forward to being on the College Basketball Experience all season long with you, man.
There we go, man. And everyone give Ryan a follow on Twitter at moneyline_Mac. You'll see it if you're watching on YouTube right there. You can give me a follow on Twitter at the Colby D. The College Basketball Experience is on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. Give us a follow, people. And also check out the Sports Gambling Podcast. Just had, Sports Gambling Podcast Network. What we do, 1.2 million downloads in September. Hey, doing good work over here. So check out the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Get that SGPN app for free in the App Store and Google Play Store. Check out SGPN TV, like we mentioned at the beginning of the episode, and Slack. I'm sorry, not Slack. Discord. Come in the Discord. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. We're talking college hoops, college football all the time there. Check it out. You'll dig it. All right, folks, this is the College Basketball Experience. Iowa State Cyclone style. Cannot wait for the season. You better start thinking about yours, and we out of here.
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit. And you're nothing but a chameleon, lemon-headed, coward, terror pussy. And I'm after you, buddy. You're going to pay for it tonight.
When we were winning conference titles and going to the Final Four, we were making a statement.
Nothing is over! Nothing! You just don't turn it off! That's how I feel. Damn sick and tired of getting out rebounded. 25 offensive rebounds, first time he blocked up in the conference. Damn blockouts are pushing people. Meanwhile, they're on the other court, grabbing the rebound, go over the top and grabbing them. We get one offensive rebound, maybe a